Guys, how are you? Today we're gonna make a letter shape. So basically it'll look like this. I'm gonna make a T, just so you know, but I just made one the other day for my mom for her birthday. And it's 3D, it's painted, this is what it looks like, decorate it. I'm gonna make a T, just because it's a little bit easier just for time, so you get the gist of it. But you can make any letter you want, and all you basically need is cardboard, a marker, a ruler would be nice. I have a tape measure, I don't have a ruler, so I'm just going to use that. Scissors and glue gun, hot glue gun, with glue. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, I'm going to make a T. You can make it as big as you want. I'm using a old cereal box actually, but I'm going to use that and recycle it. So all I'm going to do is write the letter that I want to make. So since I'm making a T, I'm going to make it, basically it's going to be like a 3D letter, so you're going to make it like your chunky letter. So I'm going to do it and then I'll show you. And I'm not going to do it too big. Just because of time. Now when I first did it, when I did the J, I used pencil just so that I can erase whatever I didn't like. So if I wanted to make it bigger or smaller, I basically just would erase it and then draw it to where I wanted it. So you'll see it's basically bubbled like that. So you're going to do that. So then all you're going to do is cut it out. So let me cut this out. So you're going to need some good scissors since it's going to be hard to cut it out since the box, but let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and cut now. Now I like to kind of cut a little bit above the black line just so that if I mess up, I still have a little bit of room to fix it. But not only that, if I want to, make it bigger, then I have that chance too. And then basically what I did after, a little hard to cut the box, but now you can really use any kind of box. When I did the J, I did, it was like an Amazon box or something. And then this is a cereal box. I thought it would be a little easier to cut through. But the cardboard box, Alright. Okay. There we go, almost there. And then just be careful you don't cut unnecessary parts, I guess, just because then you can make that into like those scraps you can use, because you're going to need those, and I'll show you why in a minute. Alright. I like to just make sure it's all nice and neat. And just, so the T is pretty simple because either way you put it, it's the same. So if it's like this, it's the same. Put it that way, it's the same. But like certain letters, so if you do J or F or something, you do have to be careful which side you draw it and cut it, because it's when you flip it, it'll be reversed. So say if you have something on the other side and you don't want that to be shown, just make sure you're doing the letter on the right side. So you're going to have to just mirror the letter. So when I did this, it was basically, I did it because it's supposed to look like this, right? So I actually drew it kind of like this, and then cut it out, and then the other side was like that. So whatever side you want to make the better side, just be careful. Right. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this and just make sure. I'm gonna cut a little bit off at the top. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Now I'm gonna trace this letter. So yeah, that's basically the easiest way, so that it's the same shape and size. Just because when you do it, you're gonna put this on top of the other one. So you want it to be able to match the same size. All right. Do it up here. Let me just trace this T. Okay, perfect. We got that here. And then just notice, like, sometimes one shape will be a little bit bigger. You might have to cut down the other one a little bit more. All right. Now I'm going to cut into this guy. The hard part is when you have like a big box and it's all over the place. So the first one, oops. I'm going to put down some paper or something. Just because the hot glue is, there we go, a little bit leaky. I already put the hot glue on. I should have waited a little bit until after I cut out all the pieces, but it'll be okay. Just be careful. If you're anything like me and you're clumsy, be careful you don't put the hot glue right next to you. I do that and then I touch it on accident. So, parent or guardian is advised. more you do this, the easier it actually gets. So it might seem like I'm whizzing through this, but it might take you a little bit longer. It also depends on the letter that you do as well. Like the J took me a lot longer than this T will probably take me. Only because there's like different shapes and stuff that you have to cut out. And I'll show you what I mean. So cut this. Okay, now I'm just going to see if these match up to make sure that one isn't too much bigger than the other. Now like a little, if one's like a little bit bigger than the other, that's okay. But you don't want it to be like too much bigger, because then that won't work. So let's see. Just fit more. Okay, so I'm going to cut right here. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So another thing too. So I didn't draw on this side because there's things on here. And I figured it'd be harder to see it. So if you do it on a cereal box, just be careful, because when you do glue it, it'll be like this, right? Basically like, so you'll still see the marker. You're gonna still paint it, but you just wanna be careful when you do that, that you're not basically just making it too dark or anything. So you can use pencil for this part, just so that you don't really see all of the markings. It might make it a little bit better. All right. Now, the next step is to make pieces for this. So it's going to be, I'm going to cut them out, and it'll be easier to show you. So I'm going to just take the measurement. I'm going to measure this side, because I'm going to flip it like this, and then when I cut out the pieces, I'm going to glue it on this way so that I can glue the top on here, and it's going to be 3D. Now, these pieces are really just going to be, it's just going to be like maybe an inch thick, and it's just going to be like lines, because this is a T, so it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other pieces. Or with the J, it was not that. Alright, so it's about 5. So this, we're going to make a line this big. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. You could even, if you don't have, it's better with a ruler, just because this has a curve, so it's harder to kind of make a straight line with that, but you do want a straight line, just so that it's easier to place on here. Alright, so we can also do this. You can also trace it. So you need, but you probably want like maybe an inch or so. So maybe like this. Let me put it that way. Gonna want it like this deep maybe. If it's a little bit less, that's fine. You can make it to the size that you want. Let's see. Alright. So with my ruler, I'm making sure that it's like an inch. So you'll see right here that it's an inch away from that. And then all I'm going to do is trace this here, this line. And that's what I'm going to cut. Okay. Make sure it's a little bit straighter. Okay, so you're going to have a piece like this. Oops. And what you're going to do, take this, you're going to put it here. Like this. Okay, so you're going to hot glue that piece on here. And that's why it's so important that you make sure it's straight enough and it lines up with your piece. That's why we use the ruler for the measurement, and then you'll see the 3D. So I'm going to go ahead and make another one. And make sure that that measures up. And it's also important that the thickness also does, because if one side's thicker than the other, when you're making it, when you're putting this on top, it'll be like wonky. Alright. Okay, here's this piece. Okay. Make sure that's all. Okay. Make sure it's good. Just make sure these are even. This one side is a little bit, one's bigger than the other, so I'm just going to make sure that they're more in sync. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Perfect. And these are those two sides. Put these over here. I'm going to take this one just for the thickness of it. So I'm going to take this to see how thick. Basically right here, mark that. Then we put this down right where that is. Move this back out. Okay. So we're here for a minute. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna put right here. And then just make sure that this fits on here. I'm just going to cut it off a little bit more to make sure that it fits right. Okay. It's also a little bit thicker, so I'm going to cut that down. There we go. So that side's perfect. Cool. And then basically it's going to be the same size for the T as well, just because I made it in sync. Although one side of the T, oh, you don't even see me. Although the one side of the T is bigger than the other. So I'm just going to do that again. Right. Okay. So again, I'm going to measure this part of the T. Alright. Keep putting the cap back on, and then I keep taking it off. But I don't like, don't really like making it where it's, you know, gets dry on. Alright, and then so basically I'm going to do that twice, just so that I can have both ends of the T's ready. I'm going to cut that out at the same time. Alright. Sure this fits this one. Okay. This one. Alright. See, that one fits there. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna just fix this T real quick because it's a little. Okay. So that's even. You might find that you have to do that a little bit throughout. Now if you use a ruler when you actually, there you go, perfect. Awesome. So when you use, if you use a ruler to draw it out, you'll find that it's probably more even than the way I did it. So just definitely use a ruler. Alright, so we got this. I like to just make sure that I have it all in the right spots. All the little pieces, which you can't really see right now, but that's okay. Then I'm going to take this part and measure that. Okay. I only made a little mark right there. And made I'm trying to make that straighter, but right. Okay. Do that. And this is our inch. This one. So this one has like a little cut in it, but that's alright. I'm going to just measure it out. It's T. Make sure it's the right size. Alright, perfect. Now I'm going to do underneath here, right here. Right. I'm going to cut this so that it's straighter. Get on. Okay. Let's check the sizing. I'm going to do this. Alright, so I'm going to do 2 for both of them. I'm going to cut those out. Okay. Nothing fell. Get that. Oh, this keeps going like sideways, but let's match these up. Okay. So I'm going to just cut this much off so that it fits. Perfect. I'm going to get this off. See now. Perfect. And those are pieces. So I'm going to scrap off here. I'm going to scrap cardboard. Put that over here. Hope that stays. I'm going to flip this over just so that I have a nice surface up for when I'm doing the, take that off. There we go. So that I can do the T on here and it won't get all messy on my table. So I'll put this up a little bit. Alright, perfect. Now, this next step, all we're going to do, it's going to be like this. I'm going to face it down so this is facing up, just because I don't want this side to show. I want this side to show so I can paint it, so it's going to be facing down like this. Alright. What's this actually? Hit this real quick. Okay. Alright. So now I'm going to take pieces. It's going to have all this stuff. I'm going to have these things facing inside so that I don't see them. I'm going to put this down. And it's basically, let me make sure you can see this. Perfect. So this is going to go down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue it. My super glue is already working. It's all nice and hot. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. My hand's a little shaky because I don't really use my left hand like that for stuff. Alright. I'm going to put this down. That. I'm going to hold this down for a few minutes to let it dry. Just because if not, then it'll keep popping up a little bit. I want to make sure it stays. Alright, so that's good. I'm going to take my next piece. I'm going to glue that down. You'll see it's starting to come up a little bit, so I'm going to have to start pushing it back down. And I put it on to the side because when I'm going to stick it out like that. Put this down. Alright, just like that. And you're going to continue to do that until you have all your pieces on here. So you'll see like this. And then go up closer. So you're going to make sure you have all your pieces, and you're going to glue them all like this together. You're just going to have to hold on some of them until it's completely done. And you might need a little more glue on like the outsides or something, that's okay. I've had to do that. I've even put some on the outside so I know it really sticks. Be careful when you have your glue because it can stick to the actual cardboard, which keeps happening to me like that, so just be careful. Okay, that basically is stuck down now. Take this part off. And if you need to cut that part because it looks a little messy, you can do that too. That's probably what I'll do if you can't paint it. Now you can also use tape over everything. That's kind of what I did for the J, just because there were some gaps there that I didn't really like, so I used the tape. I used painter's tape, but you can use other tape as well, whatever works for you. But if you're painting it, you're going to want something that really sticks together, but also won't make it hard to paint. Because I found using the painter's tape, it actually was a little bit difficult to paint with just that painter's tape. They do say if you put some like circulars, newspaper, if you put glue and newspapers, that makes it easier to paint. You can try that, where you just lather it, kind of like when I did the milk jug. If you go back and check that out, I use tissue paper for that, but it's still the same concept. Instead of using tissue paper, you use newspaper and you just glue it on, and then once it dries, you can paint it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to put the rest of it on and glue it. Okay. And I'm going to hold that down a little bit. So like, sometimes you got to be careful, because if your thing's not right up on the edge, you'll have a little bit hanging over. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. Because if you're going to just like tape it anyway, you won't really see it. If you're not going to tape it and you're just going to paint the box like is, then you might just want to be careful of that. And just make sure you keep lifting it up so that it's not sticking onto whatever surface you have underneath it. Okay. So now we have a T like this. Okay. Just like that. Now you'll see some of the hot glue on there. That's okay, you can just pick them off like that. Alright. Now I'm going to put this back down like this. I'm going to take this, put it down like this. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on just like this. Okay. I'm going to hot glue it down. Make sure that it's all going to glue this part. And I'm going to glue it all. You want it to be a little bit fast so that you're not having the glue dry up on you. So I'm just trying to go as fast as I can, still applying it right. Now that I got that on there, be careful when you pick it up because there's hot glue on each side. Okay. So just be careful. Okay. Now I'm just going to let it down. Just like that. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now it looks a little messy, right? Because they have all this hot glue on it, but you can pick off all of the glue and then you can either tape it or you can use newspaper and then just paint it on here with your glue, and once that dries you can paint it however you like, and then you basically will have something like this. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you had fun, and I hope you have fun doing this. And if you see anything where there might be like a little bit of underlap like that, you could just cut that part off. I didn't have it exactly to size, but either way, you can make it into your own nice letter that you can put up on dresser or whatever. Thanks. Have a great day, guys.